Hello everyone and welcome to our daily Daf Thought on Daf Daled. So we have in the Gemara over here on Daf Daled Amud Beis, we have a memra of Rabbi Yochanan's that we all know very well. The Gemara brings down from Rabbi Yochanan, Ezeu ben ha'olam haba, who is somebody who is worthy of receiving a portion in Olam Haba, Zeh ha'saimech geula l'tfila shel arvis, somebody who mentions the geula right next to his tefillah by Ma'ariv. And of course, we all know that we're masmich geula l'tfila by Shachris as well as by Ma'ariv. By Shachris, we make the bracha of Arichtha Hashem Gal Yisrael, and then right away we begin Shemona Esrei. By Ma'ariv also, we have to be masmich geula l'tfila. Now the Gemara asks a question right away. The Gemara wants to know, how is it that we're masmich geula l'tfila by Ma'ariv? We know that we make the bracha of Baruch Hashem Gal Yisrael in the Berachos Kriya Shema of Ma'ariv, but then we have the bracha of Hashkivenu. The bracha of Hashkivenu has nothing to do with Geula. The bracha of Hashkivenu is asking the Rebbeinu Shalom for Shmira. So how is it that we're masmich Geula l'tfila by Ma'ariv? Now the Gemara also wants to know, how is it that we're masmich geula l'tfila by Shachris? Really, by Shachris also, we make the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Gal Yisrael, and then we interject with Hashem Sfasai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Te'ilasecha. So again, we seem to have an interruption between geula l'tfila. And the Gemara answers both of these questions. The Gemara says that Hashkivenu is considered geula Arichtã. We look at Hashkivenu as being an extension of the bracha of Geula. And the Gemara says we have to say that, because that's how we're going to explain both of these issues. Hashem Sfasai Tiftach is Tefillah Arichta. Hashem Sfasai Tiftach is considered an extension of the Tefillah, and that's why it's not considered a hefsek between Gal Yisrael and Shemona Esrei. And Hashkivenu is considered Geula Arichta, and that's why it's not considered a separation between Gal Yisrael and the Shemona Esrei. And the explanation that the Gemara gives is, the Gemara says, Kevon de takinu rabbanon hashkivenu, since the Chazal were mesaked, they decreed that we should say hashkivenu ki geula arichta damya. And so too by Hashem Sfasai Tiftach, Kevon de takinu rabbanon lameimar Hashem Sfasai Tiftach, since the Chazal decreed that we should say Hashem Sfasai Tiftach at the beginning of Shemona Esrei, ki tefila arichta damya. Now the problem with this is that there seems to be a great difference between Hashem Sfasai Tiftach and Hashkivenu. Hashem Sfasai Tiftach we can see as being an extension of Shemona Esrei. What is Hashem Sfasai Tiftach? It's a tefillah. We're asking the Rebbeinu Shalom, open up my mouth, and Hashem Sfasai Tiftach ufi yagid tehilasecha, and my mouth will speak your praises. That itself does seem to be a tefillah. So it seems very reasonable to say that Hashem Sfasai Tiftach is an extension of the tefillah. But how is Hashkivenu an extension of Geula? Hashkivenu has nothing to do with Geula. It's a bracha for Shmira. How is that an extension of Geula? And just because the Gemara says Kevod de takinu rabbanon lameimar, since Chazal were mesakin to say Hashkivenu, now somehow it becomes an extension of Geula. How does that work? So there is a famous Rabbeinu Yoina. The Rabbeinu Yoina asks this kasha, and what the Rabbeinu Yoina explains is, he says that Hashkivenu, we have to understand the background of Hashkivenu. Where does this bracha of Shmira come from? What is it based on? Says Rabbeinu Yoina that by Geulas Mitzrayim, Klal Yisrael was told by Moshe Rabbeinu that Makas Bechoros was going to take place, and they were afraid. They knew that the Rebbeinu Shalom was coming and was bringing a great magefa on the Mitzrim, and they were afraid. They were worried. Are they necessarily going to be spared from this magefa? So because they were afraid, they were mispalel. They asked the Rebbeinu Shalom for Shmira. Now that tefillah for Shmira was part and parcel of the Geulas Mitzrayim, because it took place right before the Geula. As a zecher, as a remembrance of that tefillah, that's why we're mispalel Hashkivenu. So our bracha Hashkivenu for Shmira has its roots in Geulas Mitzrayim, and says Rabbeinu Yoina, that's why it's considered Geula Arichta. Now, that's a famous Rabbeinu Yoina. Many people know this Rabbeinu Yoina. But here's an interesting thing. What exactly were the Bnei Yisrael afraid of? When we say that they were afraid, why exactly were they afraid? So we know there's a very famous Rashi. We have a pasuk in Parshas Bo, where the pasuk says, "Va'atem Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to Klal Yisrael, and he says, "Va'atem lo yiseitzu ish mi Pesach b'isai ad boker." Nobody should leave their houses until the morning. Rashi says, why should they not leave their houses? Says Rashi, Magid, this comes to teach you, Shemeyachar shenitna rishus lamashchis lechavel. Once the mashchis, once this destroying angel has rishus to do damage and to do harm, Einoi mavchin bein tzaddik l'rasha. He doesn't necessarily distinguish between tzaddikim and rishonim. And that's why Klal Yisrael was told, don't leave your houses until the morning. Why not? Because the mashchis is going to be making this makas b'chayres. So don't leave your house. As long as you're in your house, you have shmira. If you leave your house, you might not have shmira. That's what Rashi seems to say. Based on that, we would be tempted to say, this is why Klal Yisrael was afraid. Klal Yisrael was afraid because they knew, so since they had to be afraid of the mashchis. And this is why they were mispal the tefillah that gives us the bracha of hashkivenu. The problem with that is, Rav Moshe Feinstein Zecher Tzaddik V'Kodesh L'Vracha asked the kasha, what does this mean? It came in shenit rishos lamashchis lahashchis. There was no mashchis. There was no malach that made the magefa of Makis B'cheres. We know the pasuk says, "Va'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim." The Rebbeinu Shalom says, "I will go in Eretz Mitzrayim and I will make Makis B'cheres." And indeed, we say in the Haggadah, "Ani v'loy malach, ani v'loy saraf." So there was no mashchis. Second of all, what do you mean it wasn't mashchis bein tzaddik l'rasha? The whole point, Makis B'cheres, the Rebbeinu Shalom was showing, I'm going to strike the Egyptian B'cheres. I'm not even going to strike another single Mitzri. Only Mitzrim that were B'cherim died. So over here, it was very clear that we were going to be mavchin, not only bein tzaddik l'rasha, but between a Mitzri that was a B'char and a Mitzri that was not a B'char. So, in answer to this question, what Rav Moshe Feinstein says is, this was actually a toyus that Klal Yisrael made. Klal Yisrael over here made a mistake. Klal Yisrael did not understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom was going to be making this magefa himself, and that there was not going to be a mashchis. They didn't understand that. They thought that they had reason to be afraid, because they knew that generally speaking, and that's why they were afraid. But their fear was misplaced. On the night of Yetzias Mitzrayim, they had absolutely no reason to be afraid. When Rashi says that we learn from here that we're actually learning this out from a mistake that Klal Yisrael made. But they were not right. On that night of Yetzias Mitzrayim, it was a Leil Shimurim. They had absolutely nothing to be afraid of. But we do have something lasting from that toyus. What we have lasting from that toyus is the bracha of hashkivenu that we make every night, which is considered Gאולה Arychta. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope we will be zeicha to learn much more Torah together. Everyone should have atzlacha with the das and with the daf, and everyone should have kol mili demetov. Enjoy. Be well.